The world didn't stop with a bang. It stopped with silence. Airports empty. Stadiums dark. Entire cities frozen in place. In some countries, people were allowed outside for only a few hours a day. In others, drones watched the streets. And somewhere in late 2019, a virus too small to see quietly crossed from one human to another, and then another, and then millions more. At first, most people ignored it, because humans are very good at ignoring slow disasters. In December 2019, reports started appearing from Wuhan, China. A strange pneumonia. Patients struggling to breathe. Doctors confused. The numbers looked small. A few dozen cases. Then a few hundred. But viruses don't care about borders. Or politics. Or confidence. And by early 2020, the world realized something uncomfortable. This wasn't just a health story. It was a stress test for modern civilization. The strange part? Humanity had already been warned. Scientists had spent years talking about the possibility of a global pandemic. Movies imagined it. Researchers modeled it. Governments even ran simulations. But when the real thing arrived, many systems moved slower than the virus itself. That's because modern society is built on speed. Fast travel. Fast shipping. Fast business. Fast movement. And COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus pandemic, used that speed against us. One infected traveler boards a plane. A few days later, another country has its first case. Then another. Then another. This is where the math becomes terrifying. A virus doesn't need a 100% death rate to become dangerous. It only needs efficient spread. Imagine one person infects 2 people. Then those 2 infect 4. 4 infect 8. 8 infect 16. That's exponential growth. Quiet at first. Then suddenly unstoppable. And the early symptoms made things worse. Some people felt sick immediately. Others showed no symptoms at all while still spreading the virus. Meaning the virus could move invisibly through offices, buses, restaurants, schools, even family gatherings. The modern world accidentally became a perfect delivery system. And then came the panic buying. Toilet paper disappeared first. Which is still one of the strangest chapters of the entire crisis. A respiratory virus somehow caused a toilet paper apocalypse. Humans are complicated creatures. But behind the jokes, something serious was happening. Supply chains were breaking. Factories closed. Cargo slowed down. Workers stayed home. Suddenly countries realized how dependent they were on global manufacturing networks. One shutdown in one region could affect products thousands of miles away. Even hospitals struggled. Shortages of masks, ventilators, protective equipment. Doctors and nurses became frontline soldiers in a war nobody expected to fight at this scale. And here's the irony. For years, many healthcare systems were optimized for efficiency. Fewer extra beds, lean staffing, minimal waste. Great for profits and budgeting. Terrible during a massive emergency. Efficiency works, until the unexpected happens. Then resilience matters more. Meanwhile, misinformation spread almost as fast as the virus itself. Social media exploded with rumors, fake cures, conspiracy theories, miracle treatments, fear campaigns. People argued about masks, vaccines, lockdowns. Suddenly public health became political theatre. And that created another hidden crisis. Trust collapsed. Some people believe governments exaggerated the threat. Others believe governments hid the truth. And once trust disappears during a pandemic, controlling the situation becomes dramatically harder. Because viruses don't just infect lungs. They infect systems. Economic systems. Political systems. Information systems. Mental health systems. By March 2020, the World Health Organization officially declared COVID-19 a pandemic. Markets crashed. Businesses closed. Millions lost jobs almost overnight. And then governments around the world started printing money at historic levels. Because they were terrified. Terrified that entire economies would collapse if people stopped spending. So stimulus checks arrived. Emergency loans. Business bailouts. Central banks pumped trillions into financial systems globally. For a moment, it looked necessary. And maybe it was. But nothing massive comes without consequences. Because when huge amounts of money enter the system quickly, another problem quietly grows in the background. Inflation. Prices rise. Currencies weaken. Housing markets surge. The economic shockwaves of the pandemic didn't end when lockdowns ended. In many ways, they only began there. And while some people worked safely from laptops at home, others delivered food, drove trucks, cleaned hospitals, stocked shelves, and kept cities alive. The pandemic exposed something uncomfortable. Society often depends most on the workers paid the least. That realization changed how many people viewed work forever. Suddenly millions questioned long commutes, exhausting schedules, low wages, and fragile job security. Some resigned. Some changed careers. Some simply refused to return to old systems. The world after coronavirus didn't fully return to the world before it. And maybe it never will. Because once
But the most important battle during the pandemic wasn't happening in hospitals. It was happening in laboratories. Because once scientists identified the virus, the countdown began. The race for vaccines. Normally, vaccine development can take many years. Sometimes more than a decade. But this time governments, pharmaceutical companies, universities, and researchers moved at unprecedented speed. And this created another strange situation. The public watched science happen in real time. Usually scientific research is slow, quiet, invisible. During COVID-19, every update became global breaking news. Trial results. Side effects. Effectiveness percentages. Booster shots. New variants. Science became public entertainment. In public argument. Some people saw vaccines as one of humanity's greatest medical achievements. Others saw them with suspicion. And both sides flooded the internet with endless debates. But regardless of opinion, one thing became obvious. Modern medicine had reached a new era. Technologies like mRNA vaccines moved from experimental discussion into global deployment. Companies like Pfizer and Moderna became household names almost overnight. At the same time, new variants continued emerging. Alpha, Delta, Omicron. Each variant changed the conversation again. Some spread faster. Some appeared less severe. Others triggered fresh waves of fear. And this is the uncomfortable truth about viruses. Evolution never sleeps. The virus wasn't making decisions. It was simply adapting, mutating, searching for survival opportunities inside billions of human hosts. Meanwhile, the digital world exploded forward. Remote work became normal. Online education surged. Video calls replaced meetings. Streaming platforms grew rapidly. Even grandparents learned how to use video apps just to speak with family members during lockdowns. Entire industries accelerated by years within months. But not all changes were positive. Mental health struggles increased globally. Isolation affected millions. Students lost crucial social development time. Small businesses disappeared permanently. Many families never financially recovered. And perhaps the strangest effect of all, time itself felt distorted. For many people, 2020 feels both incredibly recent and strangely distant at the same time. Days blurred together. Weeks disappeared. Routines collapsed. Humans measure time through events, travel, celebrations, school, work, social interaction. When those patterns vanished, reality itself started feeling unstable. And then there was the data. Every day people refreshed dashboards showing coronavirus cases, deaths, recoveries, infection rates. Numbers became part of everyday conversation globally. But statistics hide something important. Each number was a person, a family, a story interrupted. That's what made the pandemic different from many other crises. Nearly everyone on Earth experienced some version of it simultaneously. Rich countries struggled. Poor countries struggled. Powerful governments struggled. Even advanced healthcare systems bent under pressure. For a moment, humanity was reminded of something ancient. Nature still has leverage over civilization. No matter how advanced technology becomes, no matter how powerful economies appear, a microscopic organism can still force billions of humans to change behavior almost overnight. And yet, humans adapted surprisingly fast. Scientists collaborated globally. Healthcare workers endured enormous pressure. Communities supported each other. Businesses reinvented themselves. People found ways to survive psychologically, financially, socially. Civilization bent. But it didn't completely break. Still, the biggest question remains unanswered. Did the world truly learn anything? Because history shows humans often prepare intensely right after disasters, and then slowly forget as memories fade. Funding gets cut. Emergency systems weaken. Warnings get ignored again. Until the next crisis arrives.